Welcome.
We're at Patrick's awesome piece of property here in Edmond.
Not too bad, not too shabby. Yeah, nice little view here. We're out on the deck. It's episode 26 of the Hormetic Monks, and we're just out here chilling. No coffee, but I got some water in this awesome Yeti mug that my girlfriend owns. Bees just went inside the house. But yeah.
Yeah, so I had a thought the other day while I was on the road. I was thinking about network marketing. I was talking to my cousin and just like going over it in my head because there's a lot of, I mean, almost everyone's been talked to about like some network marketing company.
Sure.
The other, and I feel like I have a kind of like a balanced view on it. Some people are just like straight on, like just crap on it.
Right.
And I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
And I think that for probably like 70 to 80% of the time, and maybe even more, 90%, is probably a bad idea.
Right. Out of all if you take all the network marketing companies and put them in a group, most of those are just not.
Yeah, and then also you as an individual, and this is something they're not going to tell you, is that it really is based off of who you are as an individual if you're going to succeed or not.
Right.
And they're like, oh, you can start out like as anybody. Right. But really, from what I've seen, except for it's like human beings, what travels fast, negative news or something amazing happens.
Yep.
You hear this story that everybody's like, wow, that's amazing. This person started from nothing.
Right.
They're making all this money every single month.
Yep.
And like everyone tells that story, like in the network marketing companies, like, wow, you can do that too.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And that's where you have to be like, hold on, realistic reality check. There are the outlying people that are just their brains are just built different. You know, there are people that no knowledge, nothing. They plop into this crazy world that they have that we all live in, and they just they figure things out and they become successful, and those are awesome stories. The reality is most people are not like that.
Right.
And I think that it's a disservice, and I understand why you do it, because it's like, wow, you can see what is possible, and that gives you hope, and that's exciting. We all love hero movies and all that stuff. Yeah. But the reality is that couldn't be the case for most of us. Mm-hmm. And you just have to look at things and shoot high. I'm an optimistic person. You can achieve things, but like as someone who has tried a lot of things, and hasn't put in the necessary work or obtained the necessary skills to get what I actually wanted, that can be a harmful thing.
Right.
And that, I think, is why people dislike, part of the reason why people dislike network marketing, and also it's not telling whole truths.
Right.
Side note, religion does the same thing. I'm just kidding. That's my opinion.
No comment. Okay.
My opinion. Don't take that with a grain of salt or whatever. I had to. But anyways,
you were compelled.
Compelled, yeah. But yeah, network marketing can be good if there is a solid company that isn't a money hungry business that is just after just taking your money.
Right.
But the thing is even the best, like I only really know of one, and I'm not even going to mention that because it's not about that.
Sure.
But it like I've seen a bunch of network marketing companies where they get these people that usually the people that are really good are people that have owned like a business or something. They're managing people, and they're really good, like outgoing, type A personality that can that just likes to talk to everyone, and they're contagious personalities, and people they're not buying into the network marketing company, they're buying into this person.
Right.
And those people exist in all these other network marketing companies. So you got people that they'll join a company that's not even that great and succeed.
They'll do well. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it has really nothing to do with the network marketing company itself. But that network marketing company will, like, their profit margin, like their product isn't great, and they're money hungry. They're an organization where they're looking just for profits, which is most companies, which I understand. But in the network marketing sense, I see it as more malevolent than like just regular businesses, because you know that they're just trying to make money.
Right.
So with network marketing companies, they're acting like they're benevolent forces. You're going to be wealthy and all this stuff, and they're preying on this. It's like preying on human nature to get them to do something and spend a lot of money just to make money. Like, you'll make a lot of money too. You just have to spend $200 a month to maintain your position, to make your $20 a month when you're first starting out, when you first sign up your first couple customers.
Right.
So I think, like, and even the awesome network awesome, in my opinion, the only reason why I like it is because it, like, well, two things. Out of the other companies I've seen, I'm not in it. I was in it. I'm just looking at it as
from your experience and from your perspective. Yeah.
And I've joined many network marketing companies, and I've been in that field for a while. And I don't know why, but it's bothered me when people are just crapping on it. And I think that it should, because when I'm not saying to do it or not to do it.
Right.
I'm just trying to give you information to be able to make an informed decision on your own. Because the reality, there are tons of people that do make a lot of money doing this, and it's one of the only industries where you can make, like, as true as you can get passive income. Passive income is kind of like the perpetual motion.
Right.
You got a bunch of different ways of making money, and over time something's going to happen, and it's going to go like that. That income is going to go away.
Well, it's kind of like, I feel like passive income is kind of like, it's real, but it's also sort of a lie too at the same time. Yeah. It's like, I think, people look at, like, rental properties as passive income, but it's like, to a point, it's not really, unless you structure it appropriately. So it's truly passive income would be a system that is self-generating and self-reinforcing. Yeah. With no external inputs from yourself. Not no external inputs, but no external inputs from yourself needed to sustain the system. Yeah. So, like, let's say you owned a property 100%, and this is just an example for passive income. I'm not trying to, detract the train here on network marketing, but, like, the people, like, let's say if you own a $500,000 piece of property, and you own it free and clear, and then you pay a property management company to take care of the property and to manage the renters, and to, when there is a vacancy, to put another renter in there. That is now a system that you no longer have to put a lot of inputs into. And the lower the input, now you still have to look at it every once in a while. You can't just set it and forget it, because sometimes, a property management company will go awry and do this, that, and the other. But it's like, I feel like what true passive, I don't think there is ever true passive income, but if you can decrease the amount of inputs that you have almost down to zero, then you can actually get to what's, I think, the closest to passive income. When you're only looking at your properties like once, maybe a quarter or something like that, that's pretty darn passive, right?
Yeah. You want high quality. You want the quality, resistance. You want not resistance. You want resilience. You want resilient income that's coming in. Resilient
Anti-fragility.
Anti-fragility, yes.
Nassim Taleb, shout out.
So you want like if you have a piece of property, you want everything in it strategically thought out to where this is going to last a long time. I'm not going to have to replace this constinly. Right. That's a really hard thing to get to. It takes a lot of capital to get that.
And there's always going to be a small amount of inputs.
Yeah.
To me, there's always going to be a small amount of inputs because it's just like stocks.
Yeah.
Stocks are, to me, as almost as passive as you can get. If you have dividend stocks, you buy them, you hold them, you forget about them, right? But not really. Mm-hmm. Because you should actually look at the companies every once in a while that you own stock in and analyze whether you should be continue to hold those.
Intimate with those companies.
Right, exactly. So that takes some input from yourself. Anyway, so let's go back to
yes. So so there are network marketing companies that I've seen that their product is really good. I know an individual in this network marketing company that has worked really hard at the beginning.
Right.
Unfortunately, burned through a lot of his whole contact list, and this is I'll come back to this because I really want to talk about it. Go more in depth, but they worked hard. Probably did lost some friends along the way just because that. But that person is still making passive income off of the work that he did 8 years ago or something like that, give or take.
Yeah.
And still is making a couple $1,000s a month off of that. That to me is a solid network marketing company.
Right.
I haven't seen that because a lot of these other ones, they basically make it to where you're a hamster on the wheel.
Right. You have to keep.
You have to keep selling. You have to keep working.
Right.
And to be able to get that passive income.
Right.
So if you're looking at network marketing companies, you want to look at how it's structured. You want to look at
the structure is huge.
Yeah, all that stuff. But anyways, I just want to say that so people aren't written off, because I think that it can be potentially a really good thing for some people.
Yeah. You don't want to write off network marketing as a scam. I think I would agree. I think we've talked about this in class, but network marketing is a viable career or business. Really, I mean, it's kind of a mix, but it's kind of like this weird amalgam between owning your own business and then also a career. And I think to speak into what you were talking about before, it's like there's probably a lot of, especially in the nascent or genesis of network marketing, because it hasn't been around for, I think, extremely a long period of time.
Yeah, I think it's relatively new.
Kind of a relatively new business model, right?
Yeah,
Amway I think is probably one of the biggest ones, right? Yeah. And that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, but relatively new, meaning last century.
You're right, last 100 years. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. But so a lot of them have been kind of scammy. And so it's like that. It's kind of given a bad taste to people's mouths. But I think to what you were talking about earlier, which is I think the trap that I think a lot of network marketing companies and their associates, meaning the people that work in them, the trap that they do fall into is, it's for one, you have to have a good enough product to where the product itself is worth buying. Mm-hmm. So if you have a trashy product and all you're selling is dreams to people, now your product is the dream of making money.
I got something I want to build off of what you're saying.
Okay, but can I finish this real quick? So you're now selling the dream of making money to people instead of the actual product of the company. So you have to make sure the product is actually good enough to just buy on its own, without meaning. If I had no intention of ever joining a network marketing company and you're selling me this product, but I like the product and I'd be willing to buy the product without joining and being the part of the sales force of that network marketing company, and I just continue to purchase the product, and I say, I'm never going to join this company, but I love this product, to me that's a good sign of a good network marketing company.
Completely agree. It's basically what happens is tribalism. Right. It become, and cults. there's a lot of like network marketing companies are like just like everyone identify it can like, or people like have heard of cults, and it's like I can really say the same thing about network marketing companies. It becomes like a cult like atmosphere.
Right.
Like so you got it's
like an echo chamber. It's like self-reinforcing.
Right. This is our God. Like this is our. It turns into a religion where it's based off of faith instead of reality.
Right. Faith that like you too can be this high standard of someone that is like 1 or maybe 5% of the company that's making an absurd amount of money. You too.
Yeah.
Look, believe. Yeah. Look and live.
By the way, funny thing is a lot of people that are Christians are in network marketing companies because the structure of religion is very similar.
Interesting. I haven't really thought about that before. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, but like a lot of religious people are the ones that go into it, and then they get their whole churches involved with it and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's because it's similar because it's faith based in a sense. They're going to sermons and you're taught to believe this as a young child, so when you go to church every week you're reinforcing it, and it's so similar. You take network marketing, if it's just like bluster and like they're telling the stories about this prophet or this unicorn person, similar things, they did these amazing things, you know, like it's very, very similar.
I think through as I get older I think I always was, but as I get older, I become more and more critical of anecdotal stories. So it's like that one guy that one time did this one thing, and it did this, you know, it was awesome. And it's like, okay, but you know that's not gonna that doesn't mean anything. That's not really data. Yeah. That's just a hearsay thing, you know, to use a legal term. It's just like.
And you're taught at an early age, at least in the United States, that you kind of, at least like I've kind of believed it when like for a long time. It's like you're the hero of the story.
Right.
Who's the person that is like you have to kind of like humble yourself and and be kind of realistic to a certain point. I think that delusions and stuff like that are beneficial because it makes life better. Like someday I'm going to do that. But if you're so wrapped up in the delusion, you're going to spend your whole life in that delusion and not realizing, taking a really critical look, not harmful, be nice to yourself, but take a real look at yourself and see where you're at, where are you going, what is your track record, what have you done, what have you succeeded, failed, or like take it, and what is realistic. I had these really big dreams and goals, and it's like, oh well, this person's just settling to do this, so you're a quitter. That's also taught in your ingrained. Don't be a quitter. Don't. And then like I had this thought long time ago. Some people like to put like what we do a lot of times do is we put in a video game in your system, in your gaming system, and you play that whole game over and over again for the rest of your life. That gets really boring and not fast, interesting. Like why I want to have an interesting life, and that doesn't sound fun. And it's hard to do that because you have to get out of your safe place and take some risks, but it's worth it because like. Yeah, I mean, at least with me, potentially this is our only existence that we have. For me, I'm exploring that, but it's. I think like taking it serious. I think like all these stories and everything, it really made me, for instance, not take life as seriously. Because like, oh, I'm gonna die and then I'm gonna go to heaven. So this life doesn't really matter. I don't need to try.
Sure.
So that's kind of like at least. That's probably just I don't know where that comes from, whether it's learned or whatever, but that's a thought that I've had that you don't have to try. But anyways, going back to network marketing, if you, like one of the issues, like I'm also talking about this because this is an experience I went through, and I'm selfishly wanting to talk about it because it was a real experience that I had, and I had to work through this.
Yeah.
And I'm so hard on myself. You're a failure. You're all that like this because you didn't succeed, and you should have been able to succeed. You see all these other people that are succeeding, and you can't do it. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is comparing yourself and thinking you're just as good as other people.
Right.
Like a lot of these people, they have skills that they learned, mm-hmm. like the business, like the people that had businesses and they went bankrupt, and then they all of a sudden built this epic network marketing or epic downline, and they're making more money than they were having a hardcore business. Mm-hmm. For someone like that, network marketing actually could be a real blast. And if they have a high level of status, like they're a person that people respect, they like,
right,
those are the people poised to be able to really take advantage of network marketing.
Sure.
And they could also help other people succeed too.
Right.
Like if you're like, what happens is, if you look at the downline in network marketing, yep. you got this epic general, let's say, and then they sign up all these people, and it's going down. Yeah. And like the farther you are away from this person, the less good you're going to do, because this person can like just instills like vitality and mm-hmm. like knowledge and help, and you got them to lean to. Yep. You're trying to bring your friend in, mm-hmm. and then you get them in contact with this epic person mm-hmm. that just wow, they've got this amazing energy that then transfers to that person, and then you sign that person up. Right. What happens is the farther you go down, right, the more disconnected you are from that person, yep. the deader it gets. Yep. And it's like a flame. It's like flare-ups in where it just burns brightly and then goes out. Right. And then you got little legs that it just stop doing stuff. Right, and they just go. Yeah. Down. Yeah. But then you can find someone that's good, and then that same thing happens there, and they do good. Yeah. So it's just a realization, like it's actually a very small percentage of people that obviously it's a small percentage of people that succeed. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's not possible. Right. You can develop depending on whatever career, whatever experience that you have, confidence level, so like talking, like just being a likable person. Yeah. Those people are more likely to succeed, and you can make true, like really good money doing that. Yeah. What you said there's a couple things. And I'm kind of going to go back in time a little bit in our conversation and then kind of speak on what you mm-hmm. Just were talking about, because I had a couple thoughts. One is like when we were talking about, and you were kind of talking about a little bit of religion, but how they're similar, how the it's like in a lot of religions you're listening to a pastor on the pulpit, mm-hmm. and he's giving you stories and things that he's pulling from the Bible to say basically that it's essentially that it's worth it to be a good person in order to obtain this thing, and that your life is going to be better once you get this. And it's not money, but it is also a dream. Mm-hmm. Really, I'm not saying that religion is false. I think you're kind of exploring it right now. Mm-hmm. I am also kind of exploring just different ideas. False. Yeah, but the thing is it is selling a dream, and that kind of sounds negative, mm-hmm. but it's not negative if it's true. So, but he's selling a dream, and it's not a financial dream. Now it's a kind of like a holistic life dream that mm-hmm. your life will be better if you believe in God, and if you are a good person and you follow these principles and precepts that are set up in the Bible. Mm-hmm. And you were kind of discussing the similarities between that and having faith and believing what the pastor of the pulpit was saying, that you can have a better life, to listening to, say, a high-level general, to use your words, that's on the pulpit, but it's a stage. And now we're listening to him, and he's selling a financial dream, which could be a real dream too. Mm-hmm. And you're listening to him, and you have to have this faith that someday you too will get there if you follow these certain precepts and principles that will allow you to ascend.
right? And have a better financial life. And I was thinking about that. And I was thinking, when you were talking about that, I was thinking about the difference between something that is real, like a good network marketing company, and let's say a good religion or a real God, let's say. It made me think about how in business, and I don't know where this came from, but I believe it wholeheartedly, which is whatever is tracked grows. So like if you just start tracking your calories, right? And grow is kind of like a nebulous word, encompasses like all things getting better, right? So like if you track your calories, if you just track your calories, the chances are you might start losing some weight if you just track calories and you don't even care about losing weight, let's say. But let's say you have it in the back of your mind, you want to lose weight. If you just track calories, you might start going, oh, but that's like 500 calories for that donut. I don't really need that, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's in your mind. You're focusing on it, right? And so then it's like that. It's like if you track, let's say, your business, how many outbound calls you do, how many, of this you do, right? You're focusing on it, and naturally you do better, right? If you just track it. And then I started thinking about that, and I thought about it. A good filter probably to put a network marketing company that you may be interested through is like, let's say it seems like a good deal. You look at the structure, the product looks good. You like everything so far. Track your results. Mm-hmm. Track your efforts and your inputs, and track your outputs or what you get from it.
What they teach you though in network marketing is to never give up.
Right.
So your network marketing company is going to tell you, just don't give up, stick with it.
Right.
Someday you'll succeed.
Which could be true.
Could be.
Right.
Could be. Most people quit, so that's why they don't succeed.
Right.
So there's that playing on with words to where this is true because, well, you quit, that's why you failed. So it's kind of just a psychologically effery, it's playing with your mind, because if you're in that situation,
right,
and you're like, well, if I quit then I fail, but they're like, yeah, if you stop, but it's
then they'll say you failed because you quit.
It's like,
if you would have just kept going,
skipping over rationality, because it is a rational, irrational argument,
right? But
because you need to struggle through it. You need to struggle through it, and you will succeed. Well, if you're not taking into account, is this a good product,
right,
and stuff, like, you could know that subconsciously, you're not going to admit it to yourself,
right?
By the way, when you're in this situation, where, I joined one once because the product was crap. Mm-hmm. Like, it was not good. I tried to find something on there because I was just trying to support someone I know, right. And I wanted to be like, I knew the rough road, right. And I wanted to see if I could help ignite their success, but the product just wasn't good.
Right.
Like, I tried to justify buying it, and it's just building up product. I'm like, this is not good.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I think there's something there.
Yeah.
There's something there deep beneath, like what we were talking about, you and I. So, like, the determining factor of whether quitting, you fail because you quit, or you fail because it's a bad product and it's a bad company and it's not going to work, period.
But your delusion
is the crux of life, really.
Yeah.
Because it can be extracted out, because it's like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That pot of gold may be real, and you may have just quit too soon.
Yeah.
Or you may spend your whole life. It's just like, it reminds me of...
There are people that have been in network marketing companies that never quit and went to church.
Right.
Went to church. It's the same thing. I kind of did that on purpose. But yeah, they went there every single week, but they just didn't take the steps that they needed to make.
Right.
And like and then there's stories of someone that never quit, and they signed up one person here and there over a decade, and finally after a decade, some person felt sorry for them. I'm just kidding. They ended up finding someone that was good, and they succeeded. But it's like,
right.
It really is. Are you likable?
Right. Well, yeah, but but you think about it is like, yeah, it is. Are you likable? But it's
not
like,
just that. Yeah.
But it's like if you're on this path, it's like, I'm trying to think of a good example, but it'd be like, could you learn to climb trees better than monkeys? Right? It's like, if you stayed with it your whole life,
mm-hmm.
you would probably be better than any human. But probably still not better than a monkey.
I think that would be an argument for network marketing, because if you could get kind of good,
mm-hmm.
you could make a lot of like decent, really good money network marketing.
Well,
so if you do, it seems it's interesting. I've seen people develop network marketing, but it just seems like the mass majority don't, because it seems like the tracking. It's like going to. It's kind of like what we're talking about with podcasts.
Yeah.
You can grow, like, there's a situation where you got two human beings. They both listen to the same podcast. One applies the knowledge and one doesn't.
Right.
And the thing is like, at least with me with network marketing, the things that I knew I needed to do to make money, I didn't want to do. And some of them felt wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Not wrong, just like, ick.
Right, it didn't feel good to you.
Didn't feel good.
Yeah.
I did them anyways
mm-hmm.
at the time, because you got all these people telling you this is what you're supposed to do. But I think it's also like your own ethics and morality. Like because you really are selling yourself in a sense in network marketing. And if you're not a good product you haven't developed yourself into a good product, you really shouldn't be doing network marketing, because it's just going to be painful for you mm-hmm. and be painful for everyone else around you.
Right. But
you can learn.
But you could have developed into that person.
I don't know.
And then you could have succeeded, but you stopped and you failed because you quit.
Yeah, and you can go through that loop, and that's a loop that
right.
plays in your head with network marketing. It's
right.
really horrible, honestly. It's torture. Before you go on,
yeah.
It's you have that. But what I've noticed is that it's like the education process. Since it's your responsibility to succeed, you have no accountability really. You've got some accountability.
Right.
Maybe your upline telling you, how many phone calls did you make? I didn't make any. Stuff like that.
Right.
You didn't develop skills. You need, like when I was saying there's the people that succeeded, a lot of them had businesses before.
Yeah.
It's because they developed those skills in a more solid way, because it's a more structured way that they were able to develop the skills. In network marketing, there's not a hardcore structure way to make money. Like they don't have a school where they're sending there's not a school for network marketing. It's like there's not enough guidance, and so you have a bunch of people that just get in. It's basically just turning people in and turning people out. Mm-hmm. It's just siphoning through people, filtering through the people to find good, like people that have already developed the skills. It's like going to Yale, and like they're trying to find like the students at Harvard or whatever. It's not that the school is so great, it's that all the smart people are at that school that make it great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So like, yeah, it's almost like network marketing. Let's say it's a good product, it's a good company, and we start with that assumption. But so what we're doing is we're actually selling a dream to everybody. And then it's a sorting process.
Yeah.
And the people that are sorted out and fail are probably the majority, like let's say 80%. And from those people, we extracted the value of the price of the signing up to become a member of the network marketing company. And we extracted out the price of the product that they bought.
Yeah.
And we extracted out the value of the network effect of selling to their friends and family the dream.
Yep.
Now, of the people that we've sorted out, the 20% that have all these skills are really, really good at, say, reaching out to people, at selling, at networking. They're very likable. Maybe they're aesthetically pleasing to the eye. These people, they stay, and they make good money, and they're held up as the standard and the means by which we sell then the dream to the other people in which we sort through. And if it's a good product and it's set up and it's structured appropriately, meaning the sales structure is set up appropriately, it's not a scam, it's a good company. If you failed, it means that your potential wasn't great enough to succeed, or you weren't disciplined enough to gain the skills, or you didn't sustain the necessary action long enough to be able to have those skills or embody those skills to become part of the 20%, and you were sorted out. If it's a bad company, it didn't matter anyways, because they just sold you the dream, and that's all they had.
Yeah.
There wasn't a good underlying product. And I think wow, there's just so many
I have like
applications
I'm
to
like
other parts
burning.
of life.
I have a couple different things, because you brought up some really interesting thoughts.
Yeah.
It's now, so you have, so if you, it just because it's a good product, it is kind of, it really is kind of it is predatory, even if you have a good product, because it's you have this thought, in a sense. I had this thought, even though you have a good product and it pays good, how much is it actually benefiting the individual that is brought in?
Right, percentages matter.
So it's like,
right, what percentage of value is passed along to
how much suffering is that going to put on an individual? You got this dream that you can succeed, and as a minority, and then you've got the majority that they're not being, you're not taught to be open and honest. I think that's really the problem. It's not that someone spent the money. It's because you're selling this dream. You can do this too. You can do this too. Cheerleaders. But it's like, it's like me being 500 pounds and encouraging me to climb a rope.
Right.
Hand over hand without using my legs.
Right.
It is not possible, because I have to train a lot. Right. And if I'm at this state, how, like, the problem isn't me. The problem is more than just, okay, yes, some people can climb this rope, but how were they able to get to that rope?
Let me take that baton from you and run with it.
It's the same thing psychologically with network marketing. It's a hard thing.
Let me take that analogy and run with it here.
Yes.
I'll take the baton from you. I'll run this relay race here. Thank you. So you have the 500-pound individual.
Yeah.
You have a rope. You have gravity pushing down on the individual, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you and I are able to climb this rope. Which is factual. We can climb ropes.
Still. Maybe not later. If we keep trucking.
Right. But the issue lies with not telling the 500-pound individual that he can climb this rope. The issue is how we say it and to the degree to which we make up the
this is going to suck
hang on.
really bad.
Right.
But you can climb this rope.
You can climb this rope.
You need a trainer.
But this is going to be probably years.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be years of hard work and dedication. This is going to take up a big part of your life for the next 5 years. Once you climb the rope and you get to the top of the rope, it may not be what you think it was.
Yeah.
It may not be as great as you think it is to climb ropes.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really, it's everything that I laid out before, plus what you just added, because that is and it's an important part too of the conversation, because it's like you have a good product, you have a bad product, everything I just said, but then it's also, what are you telling people?
Yeah.
Are you telling people this is an opportunity? Most of you will fail. A few of you will succeed. Those that succeed, either they're going to be inherently talented and gifted,
Yep.
and they have to work a little bit, or they're going to be inherently not talented and gifted, and you will have to suffer and work very, very hard for years.
They're not telling them their own. They're telling people what they want to hear, dosed with a little bit of. It's like politics, dancing around words, and you can do this too. It's telling people what people want to hear and take advantage.
Right.
They're giving people the reward without the work, in a sense, mentally. It's like, I want to say a word, but I'm not going to.
It's marketing.
Yeah, it's marketing, but it's just mental stimulation over and over again without having to put the work in. I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I
don't think it's wrong to say the word.
I don't want to, but it's like
it's like the mouse hitting the dopamine button.
Yeah, hitting
again.
Yeah, and it's a horrible feeling, because it's like, especially when you don't know any of the steps to make, you haven't gotten to a point in life where you've succeeded in certain areas and you have a grasp on reality, and you're told you can just do all these amazing things,
right? And
potentially you could. Most people don't do amazing things, and it takes an absurd amount of work to do things that are amazing.
Yes.
Or luck.
Or there's one last thing. Or it takes a particular mind that doesn't believe it's work, but sees it as fun.
Yeah.
And does the work as something that's enjoyable to themselves, not for the end goal, but for the thing itself.
Yeah. Yes. That's a good statement, because that's a really important psychological thing that I have to remind myself. It's and it's something that I'm working on too, is finding something that could potentially make money that you enjoy doing, and for the sake of doing it, and if you don't make money doing it, you're going to continue doing it regardless. That's why we're doing the podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't expect to ever make money doing this, but potentially in 10 years,
right? Maybe
maybe even not then. It depends, and that's this to go on with this.
Yes, go for it.
It's kind of the same thing with we've had some banter back and forth about getting good with the podcast, and it's I have anxiety about it, because how do you just get better? Well, we can get more equipment and stuff like that. We're going to work on it, on getting better at videoing, but really, us as individuals, we need to develop. It's like thinking about the little things to get better, we've faced our chairs this way because I felt awkward last time. I was looking at the turtles in his girlfriend's house, because I was just I for some reason it felt awkward. I didn't know where to look. So things like that, little things, you can get better, but developing at your character, it can be absurdly difficult. Yeah. And it takes, to get these small benefits, it takes a lot of work. That's why we go to school when we're freaking children.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's and I just want to bring this up because I think it's so cool. When you're a little kid, you start with a certain amount of neurons, right? Mm-hmm. And as you get older, you lose some, and you lose more, and then when you're in your 80s and 90s, you've lost a decent amount, right? But when you do a action, right? You do an action once, it's like the neurons, they don't really do much. Mm-hmm. You do it again, they don't really do much. You do it 100 times, they start to grow together and become more connected. Mm-hmm. You do it 1,000 times. Now there's around the neuron, there's something called the myelin sheath, and that grows thicker. What does that allow? It allows for neurons to communicate quicker. You do it 1,000,000 times, your neurons are on that particular activity, it's transmitting extremely fast.
Yeah.
Way faster than anybody that's not done it before.
Yeah.
And so it's like finding those things in life that you enjoy doing inherently, or like I think Mark Cuban says this. He says passion's overrated. He said passion is like doing something that you really enjoy, and he said, but you can actually do something that you don't enjoy enough times to where you're really good at it, and then you enjoy it, and it becomes your passion.
Yeah, you can do that, and I think you can end up. You can get satisfaction doing something sucky, and then after a while you like it.
Yes,
it is interesting. I think that, I agree with that to a certain point. I think that can work with some people. I may be wrong.
Yeah.
This is just me thinking. Like, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm looking for something that there's a part of it that I enjoy. There's a reward at the end, and there can be a lot of suck.
Yes.
To get to that point, but once you get to that point, it's awesome. You made something beautiful. Like hardwood flooring is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. It's hard. It can be really hard work.
Right.
You actually, like, the first time I edged, I was dying. Like I was like hunched over and like trying to straighten up. But after a while, you develop the muscles. It does get easier, but it's still hard work.
Yes.
But the end product is beautiful.
Right.
And that to me, I find I really like stuff where you see an awesome result at the end.
Right.
Like utility work, for instance. Like I know all the work that I did, but it's like, and there's people are getting fiber optics or whatever, which is awesome.
Yep.
But it's like, it's not beautiful. It's a very useful thing. I guess I like useful, but I also like beauty, and I like the end product.
Right. Well, I think and this is because I think we're really touching on some things here, which is that, like, I think success is complicated.
Very.
Very complicated. And it's Naval Ravikant says, he says, being successful at life is getting good at solving multivariate problems.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like that, the thing that Mark Cuban said, that's true. Mm-hmm. I believe that's the truth. I believe that it's also truth that someone that plays tennis for the first time and just is, like, naturally maybe good at it, or they naturally enjoy it, and they just keep doing it repetitively, and they enjoy it, and it started off as they enjoyed it. It didn't start off as this is horrible and hard. It started off as enjoyable, and then they just continue with it, and then they become, what is it?
I think they enjoy crushing it, just like being so good at it.
Yes.
I think they're superior, and it feels good to be superior.
Yes.
And I think, like, the people that are, like, really good basketball players, they're already good, so they just work. They end up outworking other people that, like, should be working harder. But there's like there's like an exponential motivator to being good. You just want to be better, and it's like it's just like this.
It's
like,
and it's self-reinforcing, because it's like the more you do it, the more you're good at it.
Yeah.
The more you like it. But then also, you liked it to start with, and then there's also the competitive factor where you get these wins where you're winning over people, and that feels really good inherently to humans. And then you do it more, and then you do it more, and then you do it more, and then you do it, and then you're Michael Jordan, you know, or you're LeBron James, or you're Kobe Bryant. It's like, and then, but the funny thing is it's like there's your potential as a basketball player. There's how much you enjoy it. There's how hard and how hard you worked, and how hard you're willing to work, and how much pain you're willing to go through, how much time you're willing to put into it. So these are all factors here. And then also, if we're looking at it, if we put another filter on top of that and say, you know, you could be the best dishwasher in the world, but there's no real economic value to becoming progressively better at becoming the dishwasher. So then it's like all these stars have to align. I don't think it matters whether you started off as hating it, and then you enjoyed it, and then you kept doing it, and then you really liked it, and you kept repeating it, and you become the master at it. Or if you started off as really enjoying it, and you get to that end result, that those things, they don't really matter. I mean, they matter in terms of personal enjoyment, but they don't matter in the end result of being a master. Right? You could let me just I have a couple kind of thoughts here. So but let me try to flesh this out. So let's say you have Kobe Bryant, and this is just a hypothetical. You have Kobe Bryant and let's say Michael Jordan, right? Let's say Michael Jordan enjoyed it from the start. He enjoyed it he played basketball once, and he was like, I want to do this forever. Right? There's people like that. Like maybe John Daly in golf. He played once, and he was like,
this is it.
This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that started off hating it, but then they, for whatever reason, maybe because they were in a group of people that played golf and they were really good and they wanted to be just as good as them, they went through that process, and then they also became a master. So like,
I can throw something in there really quick.
Okay.
Gymnastics is something I loved it immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wasn't naturally good at it.
Right.
Not even close.
Right.
There's these people that just start and then just fly through.
Right.
Fly through it.
Right.
I mean, like, and the only reason why I got good is because I just was so stubborn. I thought these tricks were super cool, but I sucked at everything.
Right.
Like a backflip, it took me forever before I was able to do it.
Sure.
But I kept on doing it. I like slightly fell on my head a couple times. Like
right. You just kept with it.
Just kept with it, and I got to a decent level.
Yeah.
But like to compete in the Olympics, my brain is not geared spatial awareness wise and understanding of everything, the movement, the control of your body. The control wasn't there. Also, I learned by myself, so I picked up a bunch of bad habits, and unlearning a bad habit is harder than learning a new one. Like I had to unlearn, and like the way I did handstands, my shoulders got so big and my neck got so big, I couldn't do this.
Stand all the way.
I would have to like push like that,
right,
and it just bounce back.
Yeah.
They at gymnastics they tie a rope around my arms and just have me hold it there to try to do it. It didn't work. I had to lose the muscle for not do gymnastics for. I didn't do gymnastics for a couple years, and then I got on Gym Masters, and I actually had lost that muscle, and I was able to develop better and do handstands better afterwards. It's wild.
Yeah. It is. Well, it's like that's the thing is like, and I'm just taking what you said, but like there's probably some people out there that are naturally way more gifted at gymnastics than you, but that never got to the level that you got at gymnastics, not because they weren't gifted at it, not because they weren't good at it, because they didn't enjoy it. They didn't like it.
Or they didn't like it enough. Mine was an obsession. But also, I became competitive, and I started comparing myself to other people, and that killed the joy of doing gymnastics.
Right.
Because I was trying to get better, to be better than other people,
right.
and that took the joy out of it.
Right.
It completely took it, and it kind of, I'll have some empathy on my younger self, because it really does suck to be doing this for so long, and then you got other people that just come in and it just like blasts you out of water,
right.
compare it skill wise, and it's like it can like be a bash on the ego, and that can feel kind of sucky.
Right.
But like the reality is, there are going to be people I'm reframing it. Gymnastics is just fun. Like, I want to do it. Like a back handspring is cool,
right.
you know?
Right.
But I never thought anything I did was good.
Right.
Like, it was just, oh, cool, I got that, and on to the next thing, and not appreciating any of the things that I've achieved, and just like on to the next thing, not enjoying. And that's kind of the way I've had my life, like in a way my life. It's like you have to slow down, appreciate life as it is. Like, I'm always, okay, next week, oh, I'm not going to be able to enjoy this weekend because I got to start working on Monday, thinking about that, and not being present and enjoying life,
right.
in general.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It made me think about some people I've listened to in regards to business, and so I don't know who this is coming from, but I'm stealing this from somewhere. But it's they say, taste different things. And then when you find a couple things that stand out above all else, that you really enjoy doing, but that have a high leverage point, a high economic value, go all in. Go all in and go all the way. And so that it totally makes sense, because it's like you're tasting these things, and it's like you like this, but you're not that good at it. Mm-hmm. You really like this, but you're okay at it. You really like this, and you're actually pretty good at it. Go all in.
Yeah.
Go all the way.
Yeah, what if you suck at almost everything? Well, you got to try a lot, like try many different things.
Right.
That's what I've done. Like, honestly, I've done, like life. I used to, like, I wanted, when I was like 18, my goal is to be a millionaire by 25.
That's a high standard.
A lot of pressure, man.
Yeah. And
I tried many different things, failed at many different things, and I didn't focus on what the actual problem was. It's really yourself.
Right.
If you're not succeeding, yes, so you can understand where the root causes come from. A lot of it can be like, if you don't have people that are like around you growing up necessarily, well, never mind. I didn't develop. I didn't, like, grade school, for instance. I was a year behind in grade school. There's different, like, I finished half a year of junior. I was like half a school year in junior high school, or when I was a junior in high school, and I had these gaps in education. I also had social awkwardness, just stuff like that, and those are the things that kind of weighed me down. I had these lofty goals and ambitions, and I'm way down here.
Right.
I gotta develop me as an individual, and like start like getting new skills, communicating better, and like, because like there was a time in my life where I didn't have like any friends at all, like none.
Yeah.
Because like I was so focused on me, which, by the way, that stems from like not having mentorship or something like that, not having like I don't hold it against my family. My family went through a really hard time, and everyone was struggling. Yeah. Like,
though then we go back to like nature versus nurture.
Yeah. So like at the time, they weren't able to give me the stuff I needed, because they were drowning themselves in life.
Right.
So, but you have to recognize like that it's important to, like, it could stem from like nurturing, like not being like not getting what you need when you're a young kid to develop fully as an adult. So then you got double the work, because it's just the way life works. If you don't have something when you're younger, the problem of getting through all that to develop into a functioning an adult is more work than if someone that had it already. Sure. But the thing is you got to accept it, and I think that there's a strength to that. I think that gives you, if you are able to overcome those things, you learn a lot more than if you didn't. Right. There's other aspects of life that I think that you may have, so it's not necessarily a bad thing,
right?
Because but it can be a bad thing if you don't develop. The problem isn't that certain things happen in my life to make things difficult. It's, what am I going to do about it?
Right.
And accepting responsibility, and that's really hard.
Right.
Do people like being around you? I've in my life, people haven't liked being around me because of the way I was, like talking too much, interrupting, all that.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to double down. I mean, like, I got divorced. Why was that?
Right.
You know, I mean, you can't throw all the blame on yourself. Like, there's obviously, you got to look at the situation and there's things I needed to develop. I wasn't a great husband, you know, like I was really a boy, like that got married. Right. So I didn't adult. I didn't have that stuff. So it's like, it became my responsibility to grow. I knew I was lacking, and I strove to figure that stuff out and grow as a human being. Yeah. So in network marketing, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. It's you, if you're, and I don't plan on doing it. I've thought about it, but it's like, you have to be realistic that this is not like an easy thing. Right. It's very difficult. And the problem with network marketing is the delusional aspect of where people are telling you can succeed, and it's pretty much a lie for the majority of the people. Because it's really difficult, but that doesn't sound good when you're trying to sell a product. I think honesty is very important, and I think network marketing companies need to be friggin' honest about it.
Yeah, I think out of all this, I think we can. If I had to sum up everything that we just talked about, it really falls into a couple areas here, which is, one, I think success is complicated.
It is.
I think it's complicated, and I think also like how you define success, how you define growth, how you define these things is very, very complicated, and it's kind of a morass that you have to kind of weave your way through and really get a good overview and a bird's eye view of really the terrain. And it's complicated, but it's also fun.
Learning, like podcasts and learning information, like extra tools, is like it wasn't fun at first. I did it out of desperation. Yeah. But it is the most rewarding thing, because then you get you can have a deeper understanding, and you're not just stumbling in the world lost. Yes. It's like, without learning and like reading books, it's like walking into a cave with a torch with that's not lit. Right. Knowledge is the light that you can find your way through the world. Yeah. Find your way through the maze. And then I think the other thing that we talked about, if I had to sum up, it would fall into, and I think this is something that I think is super important that I've learned. It's like I keep getting reminded by life, hey, this is pretty important, which is that honesty to yourself and to others is one of those bedrock principles that's universal. And if you might learn that it's important, but if you don't keep that in front of your mind, life will be happy to remind you. Yeah. And it's important to not lie to yourself going into something, to be realistic, to set realistic standards, but then also to like keep track of your inputs and outputs, and also be honest with yourself and say, am I really willing to go through the pain necessary and the pain that comes from putting in the inputs necessary to obtain what I want?
and do I really want what I want?
Yeah.
Having unconscious desires and wants is a recipe for depression and sadness. And then so it's like be honest with yourself, and then be honest with others, because I think and I don't want to go into this aspect of it, but Jordan Peterson does a really good job of talking about this, not lying to others, because it always tends to snap back on you.
Be someone who you like. Be someone that you would like.
Yeah.
One of the best things, and I've been terrible at it, is like learning to listen.
Yeah.
Really learning to listen. Like it's kind of interesting because, like, I mean, I've had desperate, like, just wanting someone to talk to, just wanting someone to listen to me. Yeah. And I'd talk about things, but it was always about me. Like, this is what I'm doing next. This is what, and like, I still have a hard time doing that, because I'm still struggling through life, trying to figure it out, trying to see what I want to, like, what is a decent path, and I'm going through stuff and figuring it out. But the thing is like, just learn to listen. Like, learn to listen and be a good friend. And when you become a good friend, you can make more friends. Like, if you don't have anybody, just learn to give what you crave.
Yeah.
Because then you're giving value. Yep. And then people will want to be your friend, and then after a while, then you can start sharing too, because everybody wants to be heard.
I like Gary Vaynerchuk's axiom on this, which is, he said, in any relationship that I have, whether it's friendship, romantic, business, he said, I always try to make sure that I'm always giving 51%, meaning 1% more. He said, I'd like it to be way more than that, but that's my minimum standard. They give 50, I have to give 50 and just a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And he said, it doesn't always end up like that, but that's my goal.
That's really good wisdom, and that's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
I know I probably fail at that still. But
Same.
Working on it.
Yeah, so it's a work in progress, but...
Yeah, we ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, I think so.
Heck yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed this day like we enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's beautiful really nice out. Yeah. And I hope everybody has a really good rest of their weekend, and or I guess this will be coming out Monday, but
we're enjoying our weekend.
Enjoy your work week.
Enjoy your work week, yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.